You are inside the studio with Powertex. Welcome to the Mixed Media Podcast for artists, crafters, and adventurous creators. This podcast is for you if your creativity cannot be defined by any label, and where the only limit here is your imagination. I'm Michele Brewer, Creative Director at Powertex UK. Now let's talk all things Powertex, mixed media, and creativity. Welcome back to the Powertex Studio Podcast and our special Pathway Conversation series. Each week, I'm sitting down with one of the artists who took part in the Pathway programme to explore not just what they created, but the stories, ideas, and moments that shaped their work along the way. This week's conversation is with Claire. Now, Claire has an incredible ability to see a possibility where most of us would simply see ordinary objects. Driftwood, rusty metal, scraps of fabric. In her hands, they become part of something much bigger. And together we talk about the inspiration behind her beautiful sculpture, the duality of life, and the symbolism woven throughout the piece. And why creativity so often begins with looking at the world just a little differently. We also chat about self-doubt, learning new techniques, and the power of being surrounded by a community of people who are all encouraging one another to grow. So whether you're an artist yourself or simply curious about the stories behind the artwork, I think you're going to really enjoy this conversation. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's hear from Claire. So I am very excited to now be speaking to the lovely Claire about her work on the Powertex Pathway. Claire, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Claire. I'm in my mid-40s. I've been doing Powertex, or I was introduced to Powertex around about, it'd be 7 years ago, because it's when I moved to Essex from up north. And I went to a little event that was kind of taster session for Powertex at a place, and I just fell in love with it. So yeah, other than Powertex, which takes over most of my free time, there is dog, there is chaos.
Not just any dog. Tell us a little bit about your dog, because he's such a huge part of who you
He's a
are.
massive part of my life. So, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what he is. I got him 4 years ago. He's some kind of mastiff cross of some kind, I think. They didn't really have much information on him. And he's just a big goofball. He's my constant sidekick since I work from home. And yeah, I work to feed him.
Yes, he's a big boy, isn't he, Claire?
He
And
is. He's
you've got to keep him in good food.
Absolutely, he eats better than me.
And actually, his food, can we just talk about I've already diversed. His food comes wrapped, doesn't it? In a special kind
It's
of
the most amazing. It comes, and to keep it cold and etc., they wrap it in wool, which is an amazing Powertexable product. So
It is. So you've shared it. You've shared this with us, haven't you?
Yes.
And I've actually used it.
It's fantastic, and it's do you know that it smells like the old Aran jumpers when you used to go into the shops in the Lake District with all the lovely wool jumpers, etc. This is years ago. You don't really get them nowadays, but just that beautiful smell, and it's absolutely natural. It's got the colours of like the browns and the creams, etc. It's lovely.
We used it on an armadillo project.
We did. And
Yes.
I've got an absolute ton of it built up again, so I'm going to might end up shipping some more to you to pass out.
So this is why these things are important. So Claire, you are also queen of the good finds, because didn't you find a very exciting piece of rust?
It was about the size of a car registration plate, but obviously not. I think it might have been a broken propeller or something like that off a boat, because it was about that size, but it was bent a bit weirdly. Really nice chunky piece of metal, but it was on the beach and it had gone all rusty and everything like that. Well, I've actually
So,
started working on it to turn it into a doorstop because it's got
wow.
curve. So yeah, and the texture and the colour, it's just, I put transparent on it. It's just absolutely, it's really, really brought all the natural colours, etc. on. It's fabulous.
So already, Claire, we're getting a good sense of who you are. So you find, and this is why you are so perfect for Powertex and mixed media, you see potential
Mhm.
in all sorts of objects. So I can't call them everyday objects because your wool wrapped dog food is not an everyday object.
Um,
But you do find potential in all these things, and you enjoy making all
oh
sorts of
yeah,
art. There's
yeah.
no putting you in a box, is there, Claire? I think that's safe
Um,
to say.
I would say that's quite accurate. Yes.
So let's talk about your sculptures. So
Yes.
your headpiece, The Duality of Life. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. It was quite interesting when I was starting to think about it, because I knew from the start that I wanted to almost be two sides of this, to make up the whole. And I created two boards basically and just went online and got loads of
Two
pictures.
vision boards,
A
wasn't
vision
it?
board, yeah. It's not something that I'd normally do, but for this, because I had so many things rattling around in my head, I just thought I'll get them down on two boards, one for one side, one for the other. And the first thing that came to my mind was I love Japanese inspired artwork, which is where the cherry blossom comes from, etc. And then I started to expand on that, and I thought, you know what, I'll do the kind of duality of life to represent the almost two sides to people, to life, to Mother Earth. You've got life and death, peace and war, you know, and that's what's represented in my head. So you've got one side which is full of bloom and little animals, etc. And then you've got the other side which has got lava running through. It's kind of almost burnt branches, etc.
It's a great contrast, isn't it,
Yeah,
between the
but it's
different
also
things?
it also kind of shows the cycle nature, because as you go around the back, it fades in from one side to the other. And one of the reasons that I put a poppy on the side, which is kind of ravaged by lava and fire, etc., that bit actually came from thinking about my granddad, because he was in World War II, quite far abroad, and I'm not going to go into the detail of that because it's not very nice. He did come back and he was fine. I knew him when I was very little, but there were he was obviously very much impacted by that. And the poppy is obviously a worldwide symbol of, you know, kind of a memorial to the people that have given their lives, etc. So I quite liked seeing that just representation for him on that side.
That's
Um,
lovely that you've brought him into this this part of your creativity that he's represented.
yeah,
And I think that's a really strong nod
yeah,
to him. I love that.
yeah. It was also because even in the most ravaged of places, you know, when you have fires come through, it can become the most fertile ground, and lava, you know, volcanoes, they can be the best places for farmland, because so from even the worst times comes hope. And that's also, I
Yes.
put a little white butterfly on one of the branches, and it's just like there is always hope that life will come back. You know, if you're
That's a
having down.
strong message, isn't it? That's
Absolutely, especially with everything that's going on in around the world, there's always hope, you know, whether it's personally you're going through stuff, or as a country, as a nation, as a planet, it it will come back. You know, times will tick up if you wait long enough.
So to have those little symbols there as a reminder, I love that you've chosen a white butterfly, because that's peace and tranquility, beauty, hope, all of those things. And then the poppy, as you say, it's recognized worldwide for, we associate it with war, but we associate it with the end of war, don't we? And
Yes.
and the positive, that hopefulness and what came afterwards.
Yeah. That's basically what it all is about.
It's beautiful, and it's a 360 piece. So then we have your lovely phoenix. So tell us about this piece of work.
Yes. Well, I was a little bit naughty because I've wanted to do a phoenix for a couple of years. So I kind of saw the title of Still She Rises, etc. And I thought, you know what? This fits.
It did fit. You didn't have to shoehorn it. It does. The phoenix is associated with rising, the rising of the phoenix. Yeah. So you weren't naughty, Claire. It does fit.
Yeah, I just think that absolutely. I know they're not real per se, but I just think they're wonderful. There's wonderful stories behind phoenixes, and my phoenix in particular is he's getting ready to be reborn and go up in flames. He's a little bit battered. He's a little bit of an old soul in his face, etc. He's worn, etc. But I loved the colours. I loved the process, and yeah, it was just I absolutely loved doing it.
That's so lovely to hear,
etc. Yeah.
So you're a real colour fan, aren't you? You enjoy working with colour. And I think, having known you creatively, the 2025 saw you really accelerate your creativity. You really concentrated on a variety of projects. And I want to mention your octopus. So the octopus wasn't part of the pathway, but this is another one of those projects that was sort of lurking about for a while. Yeah. And he is part of the pathway in that he was the piece exhibited at the NEC.
Yes.
And the octopus, I've got to tell you, Claire, because you weren't able to visit, he was the people's choice. Your octopus was very exciting. It has the most striking colours, magenta and violet, and there's some yellow in there, really beautiful colours. And everyone was very excited to come and meet your octopus. It really draws you to it. So tell us about your octopus. Tell us the story, because I know the story.
Well, the octopus is actually what brought me to Powertex UK and yourself as a group and the Facebook group. Because when I learned about Powertex on that little kind of snippet session 7 years ago, I went away and had grand ideas of all the stuff I would go and make.
We can all relate to this. We can all relate.
I had no clue what I was doing, because obviously I knew Powertex only as a fabric hardener. I didn't know about all the other things that you could do with it. So I'd made the structure out of chicken wire, because I had no idea about armatures or anything like that.
And that's not an easy material to work with, is it? It's quite vicious. Yeah, chicken wire.
It's very pointy.
Yes.
There was maybe cursing involved. There was ripped skin. But because it was also his chicken wire, you can't manipulate it into small object. It doesn't, you can't make anything small. So he kind of grew bigger than I thought he was going to go. And then it got to the stage where I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't quite sure. So I started looking online for kind of Powertex, if anyone had done anything to do with fabric sculpting. And lo and behold, I found the group on Facebook and joined, and then found the stars. And eventually I had learnt enough and other techniques and the products involved that I could actually go back to him and finally finish him.
So earlier last year, you said, right, I've got an octopus and I'm going to finish him off.
Yes.
And so he came out. He never disappeared. And I think a lot of people, they find Powertex, you start using it, so maybe even just in one workshop, and your mind takes off, doesn't it? You think, oh, all the things I could do with this. And you start, you're imagining all the things you can Powertex, because the only limit is your imagination. And in those early days, you have no limits. So that's, we can, and thank goodness for that. But you are limited a little bit by the things you don't know, aren't you? So you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
But here he is.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up using lots of 3D flex, which I had no clue about, stone art.
The effect is wonderful, though, with the flex, because that crackles, cracks. And that's really worked on that design.
It really, I mean, I couldn't have imagined it turning out like that. It was better than I imagined, to be quite honest.
Yeah. And the colours, you use the liquid power magenta and purple. Yeah. So your Phoenix is beautiful oranges and yellows. Yep. And your octopus is pinks and purples, magenta, which is a pinky purple, isn't it? But it's wonderful.
Yeah.
The vibrant colours. Yeah. And, I think it's instantly recognisable, your octopus, as an octopus. And people were very excited by his colour. They wanted to come and look closely at it.
I wanted to come up just to see a wolf, though.
Yes, we did have a big wolf as well as the octopus at the NEC. But it's lovely to see your work displayed, Claire, because I've known you creatively through Powertex for some time. And I think you always push yourself to try new things. You're always excited to explore ideas, which is something that I really love about you. And through that, because you're like that, you give other people the confidence to try things too. Like that happens organically. And a big part of this Pathway program was the community side, our lovely group. And you've given a lot of support to people, cheering them on. So tell us about the community aspect and the group.
I mean, it was second to none. It was absolutely fantastic. One of the things, excuse me, that I was not fearful, but was a concern when I started, was that there were so many people that when you've seen their work in the past, there was a couple of people who've done tutoring, etc. And you just think, oh my goodness, they're going to be so far ahead of me. And I'm going to be making, it's going to look like a child's piece of artwork in comparison. But everyone just was so open, which was brilliant, through the regular Zoom conversations and through posts on the group, etc. And what you realise is that it doesn't matter how experienced you are, everyone has their down days, everyone has their humps to get over, and the problems, and the points in time where you want to throw it out of the window and start again. And you just think, actually, do you know what? I'm no different. Yes, I may not have been doing it as long, or I may not be as experienced, but I think that's one of the things that I've got out of this the most, is that everyone has the bad days as well as the good days. But if you just bring each other along on the journey with each other, suggestions or just a bit of positivity, you can just all get through. And it's just been outstanding. And
thank you, Claire.
Have been amazing.
I think I call it comparisonitis. So when you start comparing yourself to someone else, that can keep people really stuck. And like you said, you may have thought that might be a thing, but you've realized it's all in your imagination, isn't it? Because there were many different experience and ability levels on this program. And when we can look at some people's work that were very new to Powertex, and everybody produced something amazing in all different styles and ways. I'm so proud of everybody's work that was on there, but you can't compare yourself. It's like comparing a fish to a monkey, isn't it?
Yes.
Like that everybody came from a different aspect, and that's a good thing.
Oh, I learned so much. I think everybody has probably gone away learning, not just from you and through the guidance, but from each other.
Yeah. Absolutely.
or techniques or a little thing that someone's used. It's been really, it's been absolutely fantastic for me, at least. I can't speak for anybody else, but I imagine it's pretty similar.
Yeah, everybody has taken something different from the pathway, but the community side, the sharing, and that the unique experiences that we've all had that are unique to us, hugely positive.
Mm.
So thank you so much for sharing your story and your sculptures with us, Claire. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I have enjoyed learning so much about you, but also, Claire, your lovely energy that you bring, and also your gorgeous dog as well. So
It's
thank you
been a
very much,
pleasure.
Claire. And people can find out more about you and your work through our online exhibition. They get to see a close up, and your lovely octopus has a token appearance there too. Okay, take care, Claire.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed hearing Claire's story and discovering the inspiration behind her work. If you'd like to see the duality of life for yourself, along with the artwork from Octopus and her Phoenix, you'll find links in the episode description. And if you've enjoyed this conversation, I'd love it if you could follow the podcast and even leave a review. It really does help more people discover the series. I'll be back next Monday with another Pathway conversation where we meet another artist and uncover the story behind their creativity. Until then, please keep creating, keep experimenting. I'd love to see your work. So come and join me over in the Powertex studio, and I'll see you next week.